White and I own Ridgetop Designs. Today I'm going to be showing you how to adjust your driving harness to your donkey. I already have this one set up on Chantilly, so we're going to go over what I did. First off, you want to brush your donkey and make sure that she's clean, there's no dirt or mud or debris that's going to irritate her skin once she has her harness on. First off, you're going to be putting the saddle on. So this is your gig saddle for your driving harness. So that goes on first, and you go ahead and you buckle your regular girth, and then this one has an overgirth that holds your shafts down on your cart so they don't pop up when you're driving. So we go ahead and get that put on, get that adjusted. When you put this on, it goes right behind their wither. So for her, you can feel their scapula right here. It is approximately one hand behind her scapula that you put the driving harness. So you want this snug, but you don't want it tight like an actual riding saddle. You want to be able to get your hand underneath here comfortably. You want it so that it doesn't shift too much, but you don't want them to be so tight that they can't breathe. For your back strap, you want your back strap to be firm, but not so tight that you could bounce a penny off of it. So you want this to have a little bit of slackness to it. Down here you have your crupper. When you put your crupper on, you don't want this so tight that you pull up their tail. That's too tight, it's going to rub and it's going to be very uncomfortable. So you want it snug, but not so tight that it's lifting the tail and not so tight that this is just strapped all the way through. Next up is going to be your breeching and your hip straps. So you want your hip straps to be able to hold this so that your breeching is even. You want your breeching to be level with your breast collar and your traces. So when you put this on, if you go too low, this could actually take her legs out when your cart stops. So these are your brakes on your cart. So you want this to be just a little bit below her rear end here under her tail, high enough that it's not interfering with that, but not so low that you're going to take out the tail. So if you're unsure, you can push on this and you'll see. If you're too low, it's going to be buckling under here and that's not safe. Next up, these are your shaft tugs. These get wrapped around your shafts so that this doesn't go smashing into her back end. So when you have your cart on, you'll get these wrapped around the loops, and then this is going to hold your breeching forward so that it's tucked, snug, but not tight. It's a fine line between having it loose and causing rubbing versus having it snug and too tight. But you'll know they'll be comfortable with it. Where this is sitting now is about perfect. Next up is going to be your breast collar. On this, you can feel down her throat and feel where her esophagus ends and where her breastbone starts. There's a little pointy bone right in the center. You want to be below the esophagus and approximately right at that bone to start your breast collar for driving. If you're unsure, go ahead and push on this, and you're going to be able to tell if that's pushing on her throat or not. If it's pushing on their throat, it can cut off their wind supply and they can actually suffocate. So try to keep everything even on each side. For her, she's on the third hole down. And then you have your driving traces. Your driving traces get buckled in. These ones are adjustable and they have the ring end. So they are very versatile. You can loop them back through themselves so that they can actually slide onto the shafts, or you can have them straight and you can use quick clips and you can hook those directly to the rings on the end. When you put these on, you want to feed this underneath the girth strap. The girth strap is the one that attaches to the belly band. Feed that through, and then you can use your shaft tugs as trace holders. So you have that. Everything should line up and be pretty even across the center of her body. So if everything is, one is higher, one is lower, something needs to be adjusted because everything should be in a pretty smooth line across their body. When you're training and you're not actually in use, I highly recommend that you get these either taken off or you can attach them to the shaft loops so that they are up and out of the way. The last thing that you want to do is have your animal step on these and get tangled up. That's dangerous. They could spook, they could get hurt. So I do recommend that those get tied up before you start working on your animal for training. Next part would be your bridle and your driving lines. So your driving lines would get attached to your head stall, and then those actually get fed through your metal loops on top. If you're just starting out and you are training, I actually recommend that you use the shaft loops to put your driving lines through so that you can direct their butt one way or the other instead of having them so high up. It's a little bit easier to have them along the sides and direct their rear end when you're training to drive versus being linear on top. Hi, you come to help? Thanks. Obviously, she's a good donkey. She's used to everything. She is already trained to drive. Get them used to it first so that they're comfortable with it. Walk them around with it for a while. Let them get used to everything moving and swinging on their body. And then start moving into your actual training of forward movement, G, paw, ho, walk on, and back up. But we can do that in another video to start too. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.